guys, hello and welcome to Assetto Corsa EVO. Now firstly, if it's the first time you're watching this channel, you might straight away be wondering how am I able to move my hands and what the heck am I actually looking at here. So this is my real hands, hello, and this is a real steering wheel. Those are my real legs. Everything else that you see on the screen is simulated. So first time on the channel, firstly, welcome, and there is a video linked down in the description box below for a full system tour that will take you through all the details of exactly what you're looking at in today's video. But the point of today's video is to check out Assetto Corsa EVO in this early access. So we're going to be doing a 6-lap race around this circuit, Mount Panorama Bathurst, in the Ferrari Challenge EVO, a track and car combination that I'm very familiar with in other sims, and doing a bit of a comparison here. Now it is of course early access, so we can't get too into the weeds about exactly how everything's running, but obviously you guys want to get a sense of whether this is something that you want to pick up in early access or whether you want to wait for the full release. So when this does go full release, there's going to be all kinds of really cool things you can do. There's going to be a big open world area around the Nürburgring circuit as well, so it's going to be really awesome for online. You should be able to do all kinds of things like drifting, and hopefully we see mod support into the future as well. But yeah, we'll talk about the early access today, talk about what you can expect from the game in the state that it's in right now, and yeah, we'll follow the evolution of EVO over time. But for now, let's dive into this 6-lap race around Mount Panorama Bathurst in the Ferrari Challenge EVO. All right, let's get this show on the road. Clutch in, first gear, massive starting lights. Hopefully we can resize those. And we're off. Everybody dodging off to the left, or the right rather, off the start. Can't tell my left from right now. Whoa, we just got completely rammed in the backside there by the guy behind. I already do have a few observations with regards to the quality of the AI, but we'll talk about that as we get through the race. A little bit of a dip in frame rate as we got into turn 1, but other than that, pretty smooth so far. I think we'll talk about graphics first, then we'll get into AI, then we'll get into handling of the cars, and then force feedback, I think, is how we'll tackle this. So firstly, graphics. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, just looking at this as well. But my initial impressions are very good. I mean, obviously there are some glitches and things going on. You'll notice over the top of the mountain in just a moment, there's some really sort of weird fog stuff going on. I'll point it out when we get there in just a second. You'll also notice the shadows underneath the cars in front tend to flicker a little bit, not when they're super close, but further away. You'll notice the fog just over here. Yeah, you'll see it sort of flickering there. So little things like that, well, I mean, that's not such a little thing, but hopefully it's a little thing to fix. A little bit of a nudge there in the backside, keeping me honest. Gave him a little tap too. Smooth frame rates down the hill. We are running triple 4K resolution here, so high settings. We just saw a massive cloud on the wall. The guy in front of the guy in front of me just clouted the wall and kept going. Not sure what that was all about, but we'll get onto AI in a moment. But yeah, look, to me the graphics look really good. I mean, let me know what you guys think, but pull it up. It's still there. Just a little softer and a little bit more sort of natural looking, I think. I mean, quality of the graphics aside, just the lighting and the sort of subtly dulled down colors, I think. I always found ACC looked a little bit sort of cartoony. What he's doing coming out of the pits there. Must have had a drive-through, or maybe that was the guy that clouded the wall. It was very short time in the pits though. Yeah, so it looks more natural, more realistic to me overall. The fog effects and everything look really nice, and I would say visually, other than the little sort of glitches and things that we were just discussing, it's probably the nicest racing sim that I've played. It's not quite on par with things like Forza Horizon, I wouldn't say, but as far as the sim goes, definitely a big step ahead of the likes of iRacing. Even Le Mans Ultimate, I think this is probably a step up from, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, that's probably enough on the graphics for now. I'll leave the benchmarking and things like that to those who are more competent at that kind of thing, but try and catch up to these cars ahead, and let's talk a little bit about AI for a moment. So one of the things that I've noticed is that the cars, at the moment at least, do tend to sort of just want to drive through you. So they almost behave as if you're not there unless you're directly alongside me. You would have seen we already got rammed in the backside a couple of times earlier on. And that sort of seems to be a bit of a theme here. So if you're in their way when they're coming through a corner, they don't drive around you. They don't sort of even really... I haven't had any attempted overtakes or anything. They'll come alongside you, but then they'll just sort of follow their line as if you weren't even there. So it's not completely dumb. Like if you're side by side with them, they won't just sort of drive into you. But if they're behind you, yeah, there's definitely a lot of work to be done in the AI department. I would say that's probably really where the biggest weakness is at the moment, for me at least. And that's sort of compounded by the fact that racing against AI is literally all you can really do other than just hot lapping at the moment in this sim. So you do get over it pretty quickly, I would imagine, because it doesn't really give you that sort of that thrill of racing so much as just sort of the frustration of getting taken out all the time. But I'm sure that'll change over time. I mean, the AI in ACC does have its limitations. I've always complained that when you overtake somebody, they just drop off into the distance behind you. They don't sort of tend to battle with you. iRacing has absolutely fantastic AI these days, and I think they're going to have very big shoes to fill if they do get even close to that, but we'll see. But definitely the weakness at the moment, I'd say that probably in this early release stage at the moment, early access, the game doesn't have a whole lot of playability unless you're a hot lapper, just because of that. Long-term playability, I mean. But yeah, if you love hot lapping, you'll absolutely love this in its current state as well, so we'll make that clear, obviously. But yeah, just some funny behavior, and doesn't really race you like you would hope, and it's definitely a step back from ACC at this point in time, but obviously unfinished, so we'll see where it goes. I would have expected it at early access to be at least as good as ACC, but yeah, the one area where I am quite disappointed at this point in time is we get another big ram in the backside there. Let's see if we can get them down the straight here. He's going to turn me around, isn't he? No, not quite. Whew. This new racing suit is sweaty. All right, let's talk about car handling now, then we'll get into force feedback. So look, really, so far, I'm very happy with how the cars handle. I've done quite a bit of driving in various different types of cars. I chose this kind of car for this race simply because it's what you guys are kind of used to seeing. And it sort of gives us a pretty decent sort of comparison with the GT3 car, even though it's not a GT3 car. The basic sort of dynamics of the car are very similar. Just it's just heavier and longer braking distance, slightly less acceleration, and so forth. But what I'm feeling is a lot of communication of what the car's doing when it does squirm around. Not so much in this car, but other cars like rear-wheel drive, low-power cars that you can really sort of chuck around. And we'll get into those later on, but you do feel a lot of communication of what the car's doing. I don't feel any sort of sense of disconnection. I always found iRacing just has always clicked with me. It just has always felt natural, and everybody's going to be different like that. But ACC I always struggled with. I just never quite felt right with it, and I couldn't really put my finger on exactly what it was. The force feedback sometimes just feels a little bit rubber bandy. This is definitely, in my very subjective opinion, a step forward from ACC in terms of the force feedback. There are some glitches still. I have noticed a couple of curves here and there don't have any texture to them at all, so there's a few inconsistencies like that, but all in all, for early access, I think it's feeling pretty good so far, and definitely a lot to unpack there. And we will do some videos over time, sort of explaining some settings, things, and how to get the most out of the hardware. In case you're wondering, I am running a SimuCube 2 Ultimate here, but I'm only running at about 15 Newton meters. Whoops! Sorry, buddy. Oh, we're gonna hit the wall. Oh no! That's gonna bend our steering. Let's see what the damage force feedback's like now as well. Probably a good thing that happened, actually. All right, so getting into the car handling side of things a little bit more, I would say Yeah, from what I've seen so far, from what I've experienced, it does feel like a sim rather than a simcade to me, but it does have a slight sort of GT7 kind of feel to it a little bit. The cars just feel a little bit understeery to me, but I always sort of said that about AC as well. Not ACC so much, but AC, Assetto Corsa, I always found a little bit understeery, didn't quite get along with it. And force feedback wise, really happy. There's a lot of detail there. I have spent quite a bit of time fine-tuning things. And when you have damage like what I have now, you do feel that effect through the steering as well. But like I was saying before, the cars feel like they communicate very clearly. There's obviously a lot going on in the physics engine beyond, you know, just sort of like a game level type thing, more like a simulation type thing. But the force feedback, even there, like the car got a little bit sideways over the curb there as well. All the detail I want to feel is definitely there. And I would say the force feedback is probably the thing that's maybe impressed me the most in early access. I was expecting it might be a little bit of a dog's breakfast, and so far I have been very impressed with it. No weird glitches or anything like that, no disconnections, no weird clipping or square waving or anything strange like that, no glitches at all. Very connected, very consistent, other than just some of those curves as I was saying before that just don't seem to have any detail on them. But let's try not to crash again. All in all, I have to say, longevity and play, and you know, gameplay wise, there's not a lot here in early access. If they deliver all the things they've said they're going to deliver, I think this is going to be an absolutely fantastic title. There's that weird AI where they drive off on the grass that I was talking about before. The open world stuff should be absolutely amazing. I'm really keen for that, and really keen once, you know, once the mods and everything open up as well. Don't know exactly what that's going to look like, whether it'll be modded to the same sort of extent that we saw AC originally. I have my doubts and reservations as to whether that will happen to that extent at least, but we'll see. Took a long time for AC to get there. Of course, that damage is really causing me to struggle here. But yeah, there's definitely, I think the one word to summarize this is potential. It is early access at the moment, and you might find that it doesn't quite scratch the itch at this point in time. But I definitely feel like over time this is definitely going to develop into something that will be pretty incredible. And particularly when the new 50 series graphics cards come out as well. I will invest in a 5090 for the business when they release, and very excited to see what kind of performance I get out of that as well. But I'm going to shut up for a bit now. I've said everything I need to say and just let you listen to the car, listen to the sounds over the top of the hill, and then we'll sign off at the bottom in just a moment. Yeah, they need to fix that. And that. I mean, that's the kind of thing that you shouldn't, even in early access. I mean, that doesn't seem like a hard thing to fix. Just fix the line of the circuits. Anyway. I love the wind noise as you come down the straights as well. It really gives you a deeper sense of immersion. Something that, as I think I was saying before, really lacks in a lot of sims. A lot of those little sounds that you get over the top of the engine noise in a real life race car that I'm getting here, very impressive. Potential, that's the word. I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for a lot more crazy stuff like this. We'll be doing a lot of racing in ACC? Slip of the tongue there, ACE EVO. over the coming years, I'm certain. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. I will see you again very soon. We will be doing some more videos covering some of the elements of this in more detail, and hopefully sharing some of my settings and things with you as well once I've got everything dialed in to my absolute satisfaction as good as I can get it. That's it for today, guys. I will see you again soon. Catch ya.